Hello, welcome to Casey's Ice Cream Parlor podcast, the podcast where we recap every single Sweet Valley Twins book.
Yes.
I'm Paula and I'm here with Rich.
Hello.
And this fortnight we are doing an Olympic special.
Yes, something a little different because the Olympics are happening in Tokyo right now.
Yeah, so I got hold of this book from Etsy. It was a series, but it only had 2 books in.
And it is in the Twins timeline.
Yeah.
So it is Twins.
I'm not exactly sure when, but I
there
think
are
it's a bit later on than we are.
We'll discuss it as we go through because there are some clues as to it certainly is a little later than we are, but they're very much contained stories. So we figured,
But it's a series called Team of Sweet Valley, and there's 2 of them, and one of them is about someone called Sandra.
Whoever, not Sandra Bacon either, which is dull.
And we've got book 1, Jessica Goes for the Gold.
Yes.
So they're all about these games called the California Games.
Which I think is a big thing in America. I have a video game on the...
yeah, you said that. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it was quite a popular game back in the day called the California Games. So I'm guessing it's an actual thing.
I really like the cover of this one. So it's got team in pink letters down the side. It's got a different logo in a yellow banner.
Yeah.
We posted it on our Instagram page if you want to have a look.
We did indeed.
And it's got Jessica and her rival Dawn.
The bitch.
Balancing on a beam in their leotards.
Yes.
And
Jessica looks outraged.
Jessica looks pretty mad.
Mm-hmm.
Dawn looks smug.
Smug, yes. Smug is a good word.
And it says on the back, anything to win. For Jessica Wakefield, the upcoming California Games are the chance of a lifetime. As a member of the Sweet Valley Middle School cheerleading squad, Jessica's always known she's a super athlete. She's always known.
Always.
And now that she's earned a place on the school's gymnastics team, she's ready to prove her acrobatic skills to the whole state. Jessica's sure she's good enough to win a gold medal at the Games, until she comes face to face with Dawn Maven, the star gymnast of a rival team. Dawn is strong, graceful, and ruthless. She'll do whatever it takes to win, and that includes sabotaging Jessica's performance. Jessica wanted a fair competition, but will she have to play by Dawn's dirty rules? Sweet Valley shoots for the stars at the California Games.
Yes. So, shall we get into it?
Yeah. Did you notice as well that at the beginning of every chapter on this book, there's a little picture of a gymnast?
I did notice that, and I thought it was very cute.
I like it.
It is the same image on everyone, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like it's moving.
No, it's the same one, yeah.
So, we open with Caroline Pierce asking where Amy Sutton is.
Yeah, they're at a special Sixers meeting in Mr. Bowman's classroom. And Caroline's gossiping about how chummy Amy and Ken are getting.
Yeah.
And Liz says, actually, Amy's at gymnastics practice.
Yeah, Liz is... I think we're already getting the sense where we are in Twins. But now, at this point, wherever this happens, Liz has had enough of Caroline Pierce's shit. So she's very quick to shoot down the rumours. She's like, no, Caroline, you're wrong.
Yeah, she tells them she's called them there to discuss doing a special issue about the upcoming California Games.
Yes, and she's also invited Todd and Aaron. And we discover that Todd is now Liz's sort of boyfriend.
Yeah, so that's why I was wondering how far in this is.
Well, they're not an item yet, are they?
No.
With where we are in the series, so I'm guessing it's a little later.
So apparently the California Games are the middle school equivalent of state championships. And they're only being held every other year because of budget cuts to the school.
Yes, so it used to be an annual thing. Now it's biennial.
And they don't know which teams will qualify yet, but Liz says that they can write about all of the teams.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron says he'll cover soccer, as he's the captain. Isn't that a conflict of interest?
You would think.
Come on, Liz.
You would think.
And Maria says she'll do volleyball, as her and Liz are on the volleyball team.
I don't think there's much, journalistic integrity in the Sweet Valley Sixers, if I'm honest.
Well, Liz should get onto that.
She should get onto it, yeah.
And they all agree that the girls' gymnastics team will qualify, as they only need one more win to get through. And it's all thanks to Jessica, who is suddenly apparently an amazing gymnast.
Yeah, well, the book does mention that, her work with the boosters, the cheerleading squad, combined with her work in ballet, just kind of paid off to where she naturally transitioned into gymnastics and is now an amazing gymnast. Although... She
I'm not
will,
so
I
sure about
guess,
that.
just drop this when she gets to
Yeah.
Sweet Valley High and just be like, can't be bothered with Jim anymore.
Someone called Sarah, don't know who that is.
No.
She says that she saw Jess practicing on the uneven parallel bars, and she was doing moves that are in the Olympics.
Yeah, she's got some great talent.
So she obviously must be pretty good.
Yeah.
We get a lot of like technical gymnastic terms in this book, but neither of us understand them. By the way,
I was going to say, I will confess, I
didn't
skimmed
do
over a lot of it.
gymnastics when I was a kid.
I think the only move I've really written down, apart from that move, is the pirouette.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jess and Isla have mustered up the courage to tell Janet that they can't make the next few Unicorn Club meetings.
Yeah, no, this is a big deal. The unicorns, as we know, as we followed in the series,
they take themselves very seriously.
Very seriously. And you know, Janet is a real taskmaster when it comes to the unicorns.
Yeah, she looks at Jess as if she said she was going to wear her blue striped blouse with her green plaid skirt.
Yes, blue and green should never be seen.
Yeah. But then they explain about the games, and then Janet's fine because, like, winning medals will be good for the unicorn's image.
Exactly. So, she realizes it's worth it for the image.
Mm-hmm. So at the gym, Coach is telling a guy called Donald Zwerdling.
Donald fucking
Bloody
Zwerdling.
That he's not good enough to be on the boys' gymnastics team.
Yeah.
But he is like telling him this in front of everyone.
Yeah.
I felt sorry for him at this point.
Well, so maybe we should have tipped my hat as to how I feel. I think we both did about how we feel about Donald. Yeah. But let's go through this as if when we were reading it. Because like you, I was like, oh, this poor kid.
Yeah.
So we'll go with poor Donald is being told in front of everyone, like you said, by the coach, that he's not good enough for the team, which I think is quite a horrible thing to do.
Yeah, and Tom McKay and Bruce Patman tease him and they suggest he joins the girls' team.
Yeah, which he laughs at and he's like, oh, very funny. But then...
So he stomps out the gym and he tells himself, I'll never be an athlete and I'll never be popular. And he was apparently a disaster at every sport he tried.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he doesn't really care what he does. He's just been trying everything and like expecting to be good straight away.
Yeah,
he just wants to do something.
Wants to be good at something in sport.
He's got like no passion for anything really.
Or skill.
I don't think. Yeah. He passes the girls' gym because apparently they have 2 fucking gyms now.
Yeah, well maybe they learned.
Like a girls' gym and a boys' gym.
Yeah.
Like they could have done with these with the booster tryouts.
I was just thinking that. Maybe that's why now, because they were like, oh, hang on a minute. If we have 2 events on
just
exactly the
magicked
same
up another
day.
gym out of nowhere, apparently. So he passes the girls' gym and he peeks in and he
sees Jess.
He sees Jessica spinning on the bars and he thinks, oh, it doesn't look that hard. It's like, really?
Yeah, so he thinks that this stuff isn't too hard. And he notices there are no rings. Now, the coach specifically said that he wasn't any good at rings, right? Yeah. But I think the coach was just being a bit polite and kind of meant you're kind of rubbish at all of it. Yeah. But because the coach has said rings specifically, Donald's seen what Jess is doing, decided that he is at her level, if not better, because he's like, oh, that's easy. And also, looking around, there's no rings here. So, if my only problem is rings, I'm going to wipe the floor with these girls.
Well, yeah, because apparently boys use rings and girls use bars.
Yeah, maybe that's a thing, because I don't know gymnastics
I don't know
at
either.
all.
So, yeah, he thinks maybe I could join the girls' team. And I thought then, I was like, you're getting bullied, you're getting made fun of by like Bruce.
This is not going to help your social standing.
Joining a girls' team is not going to help. You said you want to be popular. Like, you're just opening yourself up to being made fun of here.
I mean, do you really think that a kid like Bruce Patman is going to respect you for joining the girls' gymnastics team?
No.
Like, I just don't see it. But of course, Lila notices Donald entering, and she asks Jess why Donald Zwerdling is hanging around, and apparently she says the name as if it gives her a bad taste in her mouth.
Yeah, she absolutely hates him.
She despises him.
Jess is busy critiquing Amy's handspring vault, Because apparently Amy's a great gymnast now, even though she's
They're all just
such
great.
a klutz, apparently.
Mm.
Although I guess she did do one in the baton twirling in our last episode.
She did, actually, yes.
It's not exactly gymnastics, though, is it?
No. Although this is later in the series, we assume, than what we've been reading. The last book really fits well with this, actually. It actually fits quite nicely.
Yeah, it does,
they're kind
doesn't
of
it?
similar, and
Yeah.
it's like a natural progression.
Yeah, we should look that up. If anybody knows where this fits in, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Um,
But yeah, she's noticed that she's not running fast enough, Amy.
no, she thinks it's her duty to give constructive criticism, as she's the best gymnast on the team.
Yeah.
So she demonstrates for Amy, and then Donald says, I can do that. And he says to the coach, if I can do a vault like that, can I join the team?
Yeah. So the coach says that this is the girls' gymnastics. It's the girls' gymnastics team, and there's already a boys' gymnastics team.
Yeah.
Donald's response to that is, "Oh, I don't mind."
It's like everyone else bloody does, though.
But yeah, it's not your choice, Donald.
No.
Like the coach here, she wasn't telling you like, oh, do you mind that it's the girls' team?
Yeah.
She was saying you can't join the girls' team because it's the girls' team and there's already a boys' team.
Yeah.
Like, but he's like, oh no, I don't mind. Don't worry about it.
And he says that he's got a move to show them.
Yes.
Called. I don't know how to even pronounce this.
So I was going to go with Donald's Wordling Special.
Yeah.
And that's with many Zs.
So it's
special.
like they spell special with like 3 Zs at the beginning instead of an S.
Yes.
We hear about this move many times.
Yes. In fact, I think this is already the second mention of it because I think he said to the coach, "Oh, I bet you loved my special," and the coach was like, "Not really." So yeah, be prepared for that to come up.
So he said he'll show them the Donald's Wordling special.
Yeah.
And he said it impressed the guys' coach. And Lila's like, well, why aren't you on their team then?
Yeah, I was like totally with Lila there. I was like, that's a fair question.
And he says, well, I would be if I could use the rings. So he begs them all to give him a chance and just watch his move.
Yeah.
And he goes over to the mats and tells Brooke Dennis and Melissa McCormick to step aside. He's coming in. And then apparently he looks about as graceful as a duck on roller skates, flinging his arms around. He attempts a cartwheel, but it's crap.
Yep.
And then tells him to get ready for his big move.
Oh, here it comes.
He jumps 6 inches into the air and he falls flat on his stomach.
Yes. So, the girls laugh. And he says, Oh, I messed up. Taking up time. Don't worry about the California Games, guys.
Yeah.
Let me try again.
Mm-hmm.
So he tries again. And this time, he sort of manages it. Like, kind of. But no one's impressed.
No.
Like, no one is impressed.
Yeah, coach says they've seen enough.
Yeah.
And he says, well, I could just stick around and help out. I'll do anything to, be involved in any way.
And I think it's clear at this point that, the male coach was just being nice when he said, oh, it's the rings. Clearly he has no talent.
Yeah.
At all.
It sounds like we're being mean, but...
Oh, I can.
He just gets more and more annoying as the book goes on.
I said about 5 minutes ago that we should do this as we read it when we felt sorry for him.
It's hard to
but
feel
it's
sorry
really
for him when you've
hard
read ahead.
because I know where this goes.
So coach says, okay, we could use a towel boy.
I mean, how, you've gone from, I'm going to be, head of the girls' squad to, I'll be the
And his
towel
face
boy.
lights up.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, he's just happy to help out. He wants to make a difference.
So on Thursday, Liz is covering the girls' gymnastics meet against Western.
Mm-hmm.
She's writing an article about it for the Sixers.
Of course.
And Jess tells her they're as good as in the games, but Amy says they do have to win one of the next 3 to be sure.
Yeah.
And then suddenly Jess groans as Donald's Wordling comes towards them. He's dressed in a Sweet Valley Girls gymnastics team shirt, and he's carrying a stack of clean towels. And he says, are we ready for the big meet? And Jessica's like, we? Just because coach let you carry some towels doesn't make you part of the team.
Yeah, now Jess, when she sees Donald, Jess immediately thinks, oh God, I thought he might have been joking. I was hoping it was a joke and he wouldn't actually show. But here he is.
Yeah, he drops the towels, so he can't even carry towels.
Yeah, he's even messed that up.
Yeah, And Jessica shakes her head in disgust. And she walks away, and Liz tells him that, because Liz feels sorry for him, and Jess tells him that Jessica's just under a lot of pressure. And he says he knows. She's the one with all the classy moves.
Yes, quote.
I thought everything she did was easy. Moves. I thought you could do it.
Well, that was a day ago. A lot has changed since then. He fell flat on his ass, so, you know.
Jessica's up on the bars. She does a killer routine full of complicated moves, hard changes, and death-defying leaps.
Yeah.
The crowd go wild. She turns around and waves to her public, it says.
Yeah, the adoring fans.
Yeah, she's just like, she loves all this tension. She's like born for this.
Yes.
The judges give her a score of 9.7, the highest score anyone at Sweet Valley has ever got. Yeah,
and she thinks to herself, there is no way that anyone is going to be able to top this. She's pretty much like, we've won.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, 9.7, I'm presuming that's out of 10. That's pretty damn high.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Donald thinks he can be the same.
Well, Donald is better in his own mind.
Oh, God. So, Jessica starts hugging everyone.
Guys, bear with us. Because we sound horrible
we do.
Now. But trust us.
If you've read this book already, like, you'll know.
When we get to the end, you will know. So irritating. You will know. Because at this point, I was like you guys. I was like, I'll give him a chance. Poor guy. But you'll know by the end. You'll know.
Jessica starts hugging everyone, and Donald thinks she's in such a good mood she might even hug him. So he makes his way through the crowd, calling out, "Towel boy coming through." And Lila pokes him in the stomach and says, "Don't you mean dough boy?"
I mean, that was a bit uncalled for.
Yeah.
I did laugh, but it was uncalled for.
Well, we know child Lila is an absolute bitch.
She is worse as a child than she is an adult. Definitely. Definitely.
He hands Jess a towel and he tells her she was awesome, and he begs her to teach him some moves so that he can get onto the boys' team.
Yeah, she just turns around and is like, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah, and Lila reminds him that like the boys' team don't use the bars.
Yeah.
So he thinks he'll win the girls over somehow and he'll get onto the boys' team. No, you won't.
Donald is not going to be a nerd forever. That's what he's thinking. He's determined. Basically, this is all about Donald not being a nerd. He's like, I want to be seen as popular. That's all it is.
Jessica's impatient and she wants the award ceremony to start. And Amy's like, there are still kids who haven't performed yet.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, it might as well just be over now.
It's done.
No one will beat me. But Lila points out that Dawn Maven hasn't performed yet.
But she is looking a bit nervous. Is Dawn?
Yeah. She's over at the bars. Lila tells them all that Dawn is Weston's answer to Jessica Wakefield. And Jessica says, well, she won't be as good as the real Jessica Wakefield.
No.
And Dawn glances over at them, and Jessica thinks, it can't be easy not being the best.
Must be really hard.
I wouldn't know what that's like.
I wouldn't know what it's like to be second best.
Yeah. So Dawn does her performance, and Amy says she's really elegant. And
even Jess admits to herself that she's pretty great.
But Jess says it's about flair.
Yeah.
And Jessica says she's the queen of flair.
Mm-hmm. Jess thinks also that her pirouette is better.
They watch her do a pirouette on the high bar, and Amy says, oh my God, until now, you're the only person I've seen do pirouette on the high bar.
Yeah.
So she's like doing some moves that are kind of Jessica's signature moves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jessica scowls.
Yeah, of course she does. And see, I was thinking, like, for Amy's perspective, she's like, oh my God, another girl did a pirouette. It's like, well, yeah, but this is the California Games, right? You'd imagine at this stage, we're, like, getting close to the best of the best, so...
Yeah, although they're not at the games yet, I guess.
I suppose, but, like, it's down to these two, isn't it? So you'd think, you know...
So Dawn gets a 9.4, so Jess has won.
Yes, and... she cheers.
They're going to the games.
They're going to the California Games. And
at the awards ceremony, Dawn is really unhappy.
Yeah.
But, like, not in a normal way. Like, not in, oh, I'm a bit gutted, you know. She's, like, really pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
But Jessica's beaming. She offers Dawn her hand to shake, and Dawn just, like, turns away from her and says, forget it.
And storms off.
She snatches her trophy from the judge.
Says that her hair almost hits Jess in the face with how fast she turns away.
And Jessica's shocked. And then the judge tells Jessica she did a nice job. And Jessica's disappointed and thinks that he should have told her that it was the most incredible routine he'd ever seen in all his years of judging. But just thinks, oh, well, he doesn't recognise genius when he sees it.
I guess not. I mean, a 9.7 though is pretty impressive, right?
It is, but her head is like enormous in this book.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's the worst. She's the most conceited she's ever been in this book.
In her own head, yes.
Yeah.
But she does do some very uncharacteristically nice things towards the end of the book.
Yeah, she does.
And
some might say nice, some might say stupid, but
either or.
I don't know what your take is on this.
I would be interested to see your take because I don't
see.
know what your take is.
Yeah.
I will say my take on this though, when I was reading at this point, and I made a note of it, is that I think Dawn acted exactly how Jess would have acted.
Yeah, probably.
If Jess had lost.
Actually, yeah, she probably did. So on Monday, Jessica's asking... I can't believe this. Jessica asks Liz to print an article about how Dawn didn't even congratulate her.
This is during assembly as well. So presumably there are people around them.
Yeah.
And she's just like, this bitch Dawn. Like,
I mean, as if there'd be an article about that.
I know.
They're at a special assembly about the California Games. But Jess thinks it should be an assembly all about her.
Well, she's about to make it all about her.
Mr. Clark is telling them all about the history of the games, and Liz is taking down notes so that she can do a little article about the history.
Yeah.
And Jess thinks, well, my history would be much more interesting. It probably would.
But, I mean, we are reading her history day by day.
We are fans of her history.
Yeah.
Mr. Clark tells him it'll be the first time the girls' gymnastics team have qualified.
Yeah.
And it's all thanks to Jessica. And then, like, nobody asks her to do this.
I know.
She just stands up and takes a bow.
No, like, he didn't... It even says in the book, he wasn't expecting her to, he didn't say it, but she stands up in front of the whole, hall and takes a bow.
Because she thinks it's her duty to show appreciation to her adoring fans.
Yeah.
And on the way out of the assembly, everyone's wishing her good luck. And one girl even asks her for an autograph.
Which, she asks her to autograph her science book.
Yeah, she thrusts her science book at her and she says, I would have brought my autograph book if I'd known I'd bump into you.
At school assembly, where all of the kids from this school go every day.
And Jessica thinks, well, a science book isn't the most glamorous thing to sign, but I do have a responsibility to please my fans, so I'll sign it.
Yeah, these people are not helping Jess's ego one bit.
She goes on and on about her responsibility and her duty.
As a celebrity and an expert gymnast, yeah.
Later on, it's their second meet, and for some reason, it's against Weston again.
So they have...
play anyone else?
I don't really understand. I know with, like, basketball and stuff, you do, like, a number of games... I know this because I watched that documentary the other day for no reason whatsoever. I've never watched basketball in my life. But they do like a couple of games at each other's home. And I don't know whether it's something like that. But it's kind of pointless at this point because they've already got through now. Like, they're guaranteed. So I guess that Weston were so far behind on points that they needed to win a number. Whereas
it's like the World Cup and the Euros, the football. Like, okay. In the qualifying rounds, even if you're already through, you still have to carry on.
Right, okay. So I guess it's like that then. So they Weston need the points now, Sweet Valley don't.
Yeah, and this time it's in Weston's gym.
Mm-hmm.
Dawn is watching Jessica, flipping her hair around and laughing with her team.
Yeah.
And she thinks it's not fair that Jessica's pretty, popular and a good gymnast. And then she thinks, I'll fix her good.
I literally thought she was going to try and murder Jessica when I read that.
She's about to murder her.
I know. I was like, that's the kind of thing you say when you're going to kill someone.
Yeah. She tells her teammate her ankle's bothering her, and she's going to go to the locker room to wrap it. And then she fake limps, but then as soon as she's out of sight, she starts running.
Yeah.
In the locker room, she wraps her ankle in an old bandage, and then I don't understand how this fucking works.
I am so glad you said that, because this sounds like the kind of thing that would trip yourself up. So I'm really confused as to how this worked.
So she pulls out a bottle of baby oil from her locker.
Yeah.
And apparently she'd had this bottle for weeks, but not had the guts or needed to use it until now.
Yeah.
She squeezes a blob of baby oil into the bandage. And then she heads back out.
Yeah.
And apparently this baby oil doesn't soak into her skin or anything. It just stays in some kind of weird blob inside her bandage.
Yeah. And weird. I guess the idea is that as she does the moves, that the baby oil is going to seep onto everything she's doing. But I would have thought that would just make
that's not the idea.
Herself slip. I don't know.
That's not the idea.
Okay.
But that's what would happen though.
Yeah.
I think. So the idea is that at the end, she touches her ankle. She rubs her ankle to
and then
rubs the bar.
Maybe it's in like the side of her bandage.
It would have seeped out.
It would have seeped out.
Or if it didn't seep out, it would have soaked into her skin.
Yeah. That's how baby oil works.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. She heads back out to the gym with the blob of baby oil in her bandage.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Ireland tells Jessica to watch Dawn as she's very graceful and Jessica might learn something.
Yeah.
And Jessica's like, she doesn't like this at all.
No.
She's very offended. She says, I'm already great.
Which, I mean, frustratingly, she is.
Yeah. Somehow, even though we've never heard of her being like training for gymnastics until now.
No, but she's
gymnasts train for like hours and hours a day. So
yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
So Dawn struts past Jessica and smirks at her. She does a routine and Jessica doesn't think it's that good. And then here comes the bit. So Dawn bends down and massages her bandaged ankle, and then she smiles menacingly at Jessica as she ran her hands.
It's a hell of a way to give away what you've just done. I just look up and look at you like a psychopath smiling.
She ran her hands back and forth over the low bar as she was smiling. And Jessica thinks that she's doing it as if she's being like, oh yeah, this equipment's mine. Like,
sure.
So somehow the baby oil hasn't dried up inside her bandage or soaked into her skin.
Yeah.
She's like sort of got it on her hand and then rubbed it on the bar.
Yeah.
And then Jessica's up next. So Jessica does her routine and she just can't get a grip on the bar.
Yeah, she immediately senses something is wrong.
Because I guess Jessica's touched the low bar first, so then it's on Jessica's hands.
Yes, yeah.
Her hands are all slidey. She doesn't do very well.
Yeah, she decides not to do a pirouette because she knows she won't be able to, because she just doesn't have the grip. And she finishes, and she's blaming herself for not using enough chalk initially.
She's blinking back tears. But then as she takes off her grips, she realises they're covered in oil.
Yes, the equipment was coated in oil.
And Lila demands to know how she could mess up so badly. Like, Lila's just a bitch.
Yeah, because she gets 5.3.
I know, that is really bad.
Which is, I mean, coming from a 9.7 to a 5.3 is a pretty big drop. And she tells them it was sabotage. It was sabotage, but nobody believes her.
Yeah, for some reason, nobody believes her. Like, wouldn't you be like, why would she suddenly drop down so low in the scores?
Yeah.
It's
you mean
her.
Are you suggesting that girl that bent over and touched all of the bars was looking at you really menacingly just now was actually doing something?
But not only do they not believe her, Coach actually says to her that she can't make accusations like that or she'll be disqualified for poor sportsmanship.
Yeah, they make out like she's just being a sore loser. But it's like, no. Like,
and then she even points out Dawn's wiping the bars with her towel.
Yeah, because Dawn is now trying to hide what she's done.
And Amy's like, well, she's just wiping chalk off them. Why would Dawn be wiping chalk off the bars?
Yeah, surely there are other people to do that.
Yeah, like the
officials or Donald, yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous. And then they all just like are really nasty to her and they're like, oh, you're being stupid.
Yeah, I mean, the coach does hug Jess because she starts crying, but she doesn't give her any sympathy.
I'd be bloody crying.
Yeah, I would have been. And as a coach, wouldn't you be like, wait a minute, we want to check those bars. Like, we want to check this before, especially when she started the person.
Especially when you can see the oil on her grips as well.
Yeah,
and Lila says she should have cleaned them, and it's like, how would she get oil on them?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But of course, Amy and Lila do point out, at the end of the day, there are more important things to focus on. We're through to the California Games, and that should be what we focus on, not this. But they actually say there are more important things to focus on, and Jess thinks, yes, there is something more important to focus on. Revenge.
Damn right, to be honest. So at home, Liz excitedly tells... sorry.
I just love this whole bit when Jess is like trying to ask questions about how to sabotage things.
So at home, Liz excitedly tells Jessica that the girls' volleyball team beat Western and they're only 3 meets away from making the games.
Yeah.
Then Jessica says to Liz, if you cheated in volleyball, how would you do it? Just casually asking.
Just asking. No reason, really.
And Liz is just like really confused.
Well, Liz is perfect. Liz is like, why would I cheat? Why would I ever
Also,
cheat?
why would someone ask that as well?
I know, it's really stupid.
And Jessica's like, well, never mind. And then she goes and asks Stephen the same question, but about basketball.
Yeah, and Stephen actually has an answer.
Yeah, Stephen, on the other hand, he knows
Steve's
all
like,
about it.
yeah, I know how you cheat. Let me tell you.
He tells her that people put sugar in the other team's towels.
Yes.
So basically, if people get sugar on their hands and then they sweat, their hands will get sticky and they won't be able to make a decent pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure if that works.
I don't know.
I guess maybe it does. I've no
We'll
idea.
try it later.
Yeah, maybe
Boiling
we'll
in this
try it
room,
later.
we're all sweaty.
Yeah.
We're just gonna rub ourselves in some sugar after this podcast.
And Jess, of course, immediately thinks, well, it's actually quite hard to do gymnastics with sweaty hands too.
Yeah.
Or sticky hands, even.
So then later on, she's in a room. She's got 2 bags of sugar that she's stolen from the pantry.
Yeah.
And she's making a plan.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to mix some sugar in with the chalk so that when Dawn sprays her grips with water and dips them in to the chalk tray...
she'll get a load of sugar as well.
Yeah. And apparently, even though sugar is a completely different texture and consistency
You would
than chalk,
know immediately.
yeah, it's so different.
Immediately.
Chalk is fine and dusty. Sugar is like hard and gritty.
I'm assuming that when Stephen was talking about putting sugar in their towels, I'm assuming he meant like sugary water or something.
I don't have a clue.
But yeah, like if you put your hand in
don't
chalk
know.
and then I put sugar in the chalk, you would know immediately that that's not just chalk because it would feel like sugar. It just doesn't make sense. But anyway, it's fine. She does think, who can I get to do this? And she briefly thinks,
She wants
maybe,
a guinea pig.
Yeah, she needs a guinea pig. She needs someone to give this to. And she thinks maybe Donald could give them the towels. But then she thinks Donald would just fuck it up. She's like, no, if I give it to Donald, he will fuck it up. And to be honest, I think he would have.
Probably, yeah.
So I think she made the right choice.
So at Sweet Valley Middle School.
Mm-hmm.
At Sweet Valley Middle School gym, Donald has been trying to do a handspring for 20 minutes and keeps falling flat on his face.
Yes.
Lila snorts with laughter, and he thinks that's a strange sound to come out of her mouth, considering how popular she is. Because apparently popular people don't snort.
They never snort. They never laugh. I mean, they should be prim and proper. So this is his new and improved
Oh my god, here we go.
Swordling special.
Yeah.
And it's just a handspring.
Yeah.
Which Lila points out. She's like, people already do that move. It's like a common gymnastic move. You can't just rename.
And you can't even do it anyway.
A, you can't do it anyway. And B, you can't just rename a
This move isn't even special. His move isn't special because he keeps changing what it is every day.
Yeah, so the Zwerdling special is never the same.
No.
In this
It's like he
entire
tries
book.
something once, he's like, oh, I can't do that. Just change it to something else.
I'll call it something else, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Donald just says, sure I can. I can just take this existing move and call it my Zwerdling special.
Right, okay. Meanwhile, Jessica's in the locker room. She's mixing the sugar and chalk into a bucket and trying to get the amounts right. Wouldn't she have done this at home?
Yeah. Oh, it also says after Donald says that, Lila does a load of moves and then she just sticks her tongue out at him, which I thought was quite funny.
I can just imagine her.
Yeah, I can
She's
as well, like a real
typical
bratty
bratty girl.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, she thinks she's going to use Donald as a guinea pig. So she goes over to him and she tells him she'll show him some moves on the bars.
Yeah.
She hands him her grips, and
which
she
should have been
leads him...
suspicious to Donald to begin
know.
with. Like, suddenly, I'll help you, Donald.
She leads him over to the chalk tray, but then this is so fucking stupid.
I love.
Then she says like, "Oh, you have to use the chalk in the bucket instead of the tray because the chalk in the bucket is better for beginners." Like
the thing, he is got to be the biggest moron to not know what's going on here because this continues.
So he has a go on the bars and he's fine.
Yeah.
So then she runs back to the locker room with the bucket.
She's like, "Oh, hang on a minute. This is also bad chalk. I need to go get the other chalk."
It's so dodgy.
Like, chalk is chalk, right? I
know.
I don't want to sound
chalk
like...
Is chalk.
I don't know if you can get better quality chalk, but...
So yeah, she runs back to the locker room with the bucket She adds more sugar.
Yeah.
And then she goes back out and she's like, yeah, that other chalk was old. You should try this new chalk.
Chalk has a sell-by date now.
But wouldn't he be like, well, I did fine with the other chalk?
Yeah, well, he doesn't. He's just like, oh, well, maybe this will improve.
Yeah. So he tries again and he's okay again. So then she does the same thing again. I don't know what her excuse is this time, but she's like, oh, I've got to go and change the chalk again.
Yeah.
And runs off again. Like, you just be like, what the hell are you doing? What's wrong with you?
And why would you keep doing it? Like, he keeps falling for it.
Yeah. But then, the third time, it does make a difference, and he loses his grip.
Yeah.
She hides her smile with her hand.
Yeah, she just basically tells him to keep up the good work. And she also tells Lila that it was the coach. The coach said we need to work more as a team, so that's why I'm helping Zwerdling.
But he's not anything to do with the gymnastics.
No, he's just in the way.
Team.
He's just in the way. The California Games are like a few days away now, right? Or like a week away, I guess. 2 weeks? And they're trying to practice for another game tonight. Yeah,
so they're at the final meet.
Yes.
They're back at the Sweet Valley High. I keep saying Sweet Valley High.
Oh, it's fine.
They're back at the Sweet Valley gym. And the crowd are loving Jessica. She gets the 9.5 this time.
Mm-hmm.
Dawn is on straight after her. How convenient.
Yes, and oh no, Jess has an accident.
She accidentally spills the chalk tray. And she says, I'll go and get some more.
Dawn calls her a clod. And Jess laughs, saying, oh yeah, I really am.
And Donald offers to go and get
yeah,
some more
I love it. Like, Donald's just about to screw all the plan up. It's like, oh, you son of a bitch.
And she runs off with the tray before he gets a chance.
Yeah. She says that it's his job to do the towel so he can towel this mess up.
Yeah. She gets the bucket from her locker that she prepared yesterday, and she fills up the tray with the sugar and the chalk mix.
Yeah.
She hands it to Dawn and she tells her to break a leg.
Yeah.
Dawn's performance goes really badly and she slips off the bars and she lands on the mat and she's screaming, my leg, my leg.
Yes, the coach runs over and Jess says, oh, talk about playing up the sympathy.
Yeah. She thinks she's probably faking it for attention.
Yeah.
And Dawn only scores a 2.
Yeah. She bursts into tears immediately. And of course Jess is happy, thinking, now Dawn knows how it feels.
Yeah. Then Jessica realises something, though. She realises that Lila's up next.
She's not thought this through.
And the sugar chalk is still on the bar.
Yeah.
Still there.
So basically, right, so we get another situation here like we had at the previous game, where it's really obvious that these people are up to something, but everyone really just lets it slide.
She makes up some story about the chalk being really low, and
even though she's just refilled it.
And she's like, oh, I didn't actually fill it up last time. And it's like, where did you go then when you walked off with the tray?
Yeah.
It's really suspicious, and she says, I'll go and replace the chalk and I'll go and top it up.
Yeah.
There'd be people to do this.
You would have thought, right?
Yeah.
I mean, certainly, the thing is as well, it's like after if I was Dawn and I just did that to Jessica in the previous game, I would be like, you're not doing anything. I want someone else to go and get the chalk.
Yeah.
Because by now you presumably know that it was me that did it to you, so I'm not letting you do anything.
Yeah.
But of course she does. She swaps it out.
Yeah. And then later on, Jess is persuading Coach Arlen to let her try her new routine at the games. Mm-hmm. Or later on the next day, I don't really know, but sometime in the future. She's got a new routine. She wants to try it.
It's 1 week out.
And he says it's not a good idea to change things so close to the games. But she goes on at him and won't drop it. Yeah,
she says that her routine at the moment is not bad, but for the games, she needs something extra special.
Yeah. Liz is also at the gym. She's waiting for Jess to walk home, and she's watching Amy practice on the beam.
Yeah.
Donald is going on about his Wordling special again. This is the point. I think this is the point where I started to get irritated.
Yeah, this was honestly where This is where he started to grate on
my
me.
Nerves. Yeah. He tells Amy he's given up on the bars now and he's moved on to the beam. So he's just like,
I think to be a gymnast,
giving up on something else.
I think to be a gymnast, though, you need to use all of it. don't you? You can't just be like, oh, I'm not
I don't know.
going to bother with that one.
I don't know.
I don't know. I maybe, guys, let us know if you know more about gymnastics. Because to me, it's like...
We need to get onto the Olympics. We should watch some gymnastics later on, I think.
Maybe we should.
I don't usually watch the Olympics, but this book's made me want to watch the gymnastics.
Maybe we should watch some gymnastics.
Yeah. We have to tear ourselves away from Degrassi.
Oh, well, that's going to be a hard one. I'm not sure.
To watch the Olympics.
I'm not sure.
So, yeah, he tells them all to prepare themselves for the sight of the century.
God.
And of course, he gets on the beam, loses his balance, ends up on the floor.
And again, he's like, oh, let me try again. And Amy's like, we need to practice
on this.
Like,
yeah.
the California Games are in a week. Like, we need to practice. And Liz... Well, yeah, she basically tells him to fuck off, get off the equipment. And Liz says, oh, but it looks like it means so much to him. And, he should try again. And Amy's just like, I'm doing him a favour before he kills himself.
Yeah.
Like, he's just going to injure himself.
Jess goes to get a drink, and she overhears some girls on the bleachers saying that she's going to win the games, especially now that Western girl's out of the running.
Yes, and Jess asks, who are they talking about? And it's pretty clear they're talking about Dawn. Apparently she's in crutches now.
Yeah. And also, apparently, the girls can't believe that Jessica Wakefield is talking to them.
I know.
Like, why is everyone acting like she's an actual celebrity?
And she goes to their school.
Yeah.
Like, they see her every day, right? I mean, I don't really get it. I don't really... It's a bit weird.
These games must be a big deal.
They treat her as if she's like, an Olympic star.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, why wouldn't she talk to you? You're in the same school.
Yeah, they tell her that the good one from Western is on crutches.
That one good one?
Yeah. Jess tells herself that they must be mistaken. It's like, why would they be mistaken?
Yeah.
You saw her fall, clutching her leg and crying.
And the coach ran over.
And now she's on crutches.
Yeah.
That's not really that far-fetched, is it?
No.
But Jessica's like, oh, that can't be right.
Yeah.
At dinner time, Alice has noticed the missing sugar.
Yes. This is fantastic.
Yeah, she mentions the sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And Jessica says, she tries to change the subject. And she says, I've been watching a TV show called Mysterious Disappearances of Household Goods. It's about a strange phenomenon of stuff vanishing. People have lost milk, bread, and even toothpaste.
She's worried because...
Sounds like a good show.
Yeah,
I want to watch.
She's worried because Stephen starts giving her a weird look. And she thinks, for a brief moment, she's like, oh my God, he's going to remember the conversation about the sugar. I'm in trouble. But luckily, he just looks at her weird and then says, that's the most bizarre thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah, it's one of the most bizarre shows I've ever heard of.
I kind of want to watch it, if I'm honest.
So that night, she has a nightmare about Dawn, like, chasing her around school.
Yes, it chases her through the corridors.
Saying, I know what you did.
I know what you did.
Yeah, she has a very, like, restless night.
Mm-hmm.
And in the morning when the phone rings, she thinks it's going to be the coach, saying that she's found out what she did. So, she's really panicking and she's feeling really guilty.
Yeah. And she comes to the conclusion that not knowing about Dawn is driving her mad. So she thinks she's just going to have to call the coach and find out.
Yeah. Well, first she decides to go to the gym to practice for the morning to try and take her mind off it, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then she goes home for lunch. Liz is writing a 500-word essay on the phrase an eye for an eye.
Conveniently.
Jessica thinks this is appropriate for me and Dawn. Because obviously, she got her revenge on Dawn, so it was like an eye for an eye.
Yeah.
And she asks Liz what her views are on the phrase. And Liz says, I don't agree with it.
So, at this point, I was like, was this an essay she could write anything about and she's chosen to do eye for an eye?
It did say they had to pick
a
list of phrases to pick from or something.
And it made me think, does Liz know what's happened here? Is she like just, you know what I mean? It's like, because the way she did it, it's almost like she's...
It's just an excellent coincidence.
Maybe. I was like, maybe Liz knows and she's just throwing it out there.
No, I don't think Liz knows. And yeah, Jessica gets really wound up because Liz is like saying
she doesn't believe in eye for an eye. She doesn't
believe in it, and you should just walk away if someone does something to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fully on board with the eye for an eye, by the way.
Yeah.
So then, she thinks she needs to call Dawn's coach. So she heads to the phone book and she thinks, if I call the coach and find out what's happened to Dawn, I can get on with my life.
But Jessica can't call the coach.
Yeah.
Not Jessica Wakefield, the opposing team leader.
So funny. She tells their coach that she's called Elizabeth Fowler.
Which I loved that. I was like, that's a brilliant name.
I think there should be a new character called Elizabeth Fowler.
Yeah.
That's going to be... I want to change my name to Elizabeth Fowler.
Okay.
Lila Wakefield.
Yeah.
Yeah, she says she wants to check how Dawn is because she's a big fan. Like, Dawn is not a celebrity.
Well, apparently these gymnasts are celebrities.
Yeah, apparently they are.
They're apparently big celebrities.
And the coach says that the fall destroyed her career and maybe her whole life. It's like, whoa.
Wow.
Like, calm down. I don't think...
Especially when later we get to see the extent of Dawn's injuries. Not life-threatening, not career-ending, not life-changing. It's like a sprained ankle or something.
Yeah. And then he just gives Jessica Dawn's phone number and is like, yeah, she might appreciate a call. Like, you can't just give out pupils' phone numbers to strange people on the phone.
I mean, I'm guessing that wasn't okay even in the 80s.
No. Jessica takes the number, but she thinks she won't use it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at the gym, Donald has got a copy of a book in his hand called How to Do Gymnastics.
Yeah, so he's now been lowered to the point of having to read a book, How to Do Gymnastics.
He's staring at the 4 foot high vault.
Yeah.
And it says he's only 4'10".
Mm-hmm.
Oh. But he's determined to clear the vault.
Yeah, Lila watches and is like, don't tell me another wordling special.
Mm. And guess what?
What?
He ends up on the floor and Lila laughs at him.
Yeah.
Like, I was hoping there would be a point to this whole Donald thing. Like, you know, in the end he'd do something amazing.
Yeah.
But the spoiler is that, like, he doesn't. There is no point to this.
No, there is no point to this. He is just a pain in the ass. Lila, he looks up at Lila having realised she's there, and he's like, oh no, not you. Anyone but you. And Lila's like, that's funny. I was just thinking the same thing.
So, back at home, Jessica's decided to call Dawn after all.
Yes, she needs to clear her mind.
So, again, she says she's Elizabeth Fowler.
Mm-hmm.
And Dawn tells her she spent 5 hours at the emergency room and she's on crutches.
And may not be able to make the game.
Mm. Jessica asks if there's anything she can do, and Dawn screams, "There's nothing you can do. There's nothing anyone can do," and hangs up.
Yeah.
So Jessica decides to make a care package for Dawn. I like this.
It's so sweet.
So she puts in the care package a bandage, a Johnny Buck CD, of course, a Teen Dream magazine, some grapes, and a Snapple. Sounds so good. I want one.
It does. I bet it's like a really cute bandage as well. You know, like it'll have
pink one or something.
Unicorns on it or something.
Yeah, purple.
It'd be purple with unicorns on it, of course.
So she heads to Dawn's house. She plans to leave it on the doorstep anonymously and run away.
Yeah, so she heads to Dawn's neighbourhood, which is apparently a shithole.
Yeah.
Probably where the Martins live.
She notices it isn't as nice as her own.
No, of course.
I mean, what neighbourhood could be, really?
Exactly.
Dawn is sat on the porch and she spots Jess coming. So Jess gives her the package because she hasn't really got a choice now.
Yeah, she's been spotted now, yeah.
And Dawn asks if she's feeling guilty and that she says she knows that she sabotaged her somehow.
Yeah.
And Jessica says, "Wow, I only did it because you did it to me first." And Dawn just denies it.
Yeah, like, Dawn, you can't deny it.
Yeah, it's like Jessica's admitted it now.
Yeah,
you might as well admit
and
it
you
as
were.
well.
It was really obvious that you did it.
She tells Jessica to go away and she slams the door on her. And Jessica thinks that girl's got a serious attitude problem.
But yeah, she thinks, well, she needs to focus on her practice anyway.
Yeah. So the week before the games, everyone is practicing really hard every single day. But every time Jess tries to use the bars, she gets an image of Dawn and her injury and she gets terrified.
Yeah.
So she's worried she could get an injury before the games, and she's just like developed this phobia
of being injured, yeah.
The coach tells her to show everyone her routine, and she falls off when she tries. Coach says she looks scared, but she denies it. And
she says she's not scared of anything.
She says, today just isn't my day, and I'll practice floor exercises instead.
Mm-hmm. The coach does warn her. The coach says, she's like, that's fine, but with this kind of fear, it's best to tackle it head on. Running away from it's not going to help you.
On Sunday, Liz interviews Jessica for the Sixers. And,
she's finally getting what she wanted.
Yeah, and Liz is shocked at how unenthusiastic she is.
Yes, but she thinks, well, maybe she's just tired.
Yeah. And then she says, what's wrong? Is it because you'll never know now if you would have beat Dawn and if you really deserve the medal? If you win, but because Dawn is,
you won't have had any competition because Dawn's your competition.
So you'll never know if you really deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bit harsh.
But again, that's what makes me think that Liz knew the whole time. The book never states it, but in my head, I'm like, I think Liz knows something's up here because there's a few things she says.
It's a harsh thing to say, isn't it?
Kind of knows.
You never know if you really deserve to win.
I wonder, because isn't the other book from Liz's perspective on the same games? I wonder if we'll learn whether Liz knows.
Yeah, the other book's something to do with the volleyball, I think.
Yeah.
I'd quite like to read the other book actually.
I'm sure we will.
Order a copy. Yeah, that'll be in the
2 years' time.
Yeah, 2023.
Yeah.
Everything's messed up because of COVID.
I know,
it's
so confusing.
Supposed to be in 2020?
I don't know.
Whenever the next Olympics are, we'll do the next book.
Yeah, for sure.
Might be a while. Could be a year away, could be 2 years away.
Yeah.
Because, the football was meant to be in 2020, and then they moved it to 2021, but they haven't moved the next one a year ahead, so we get, football 2 years in a row.
Yeah, so maybe it's the same.
Much to my delight.
Yeah, maybe it's the same with the Olympics. You never
know. Jessica realises Liz is right, so she decides that she'll go to Western and she'll help Dawn get back into shape so she can beat her fair and square.
Which I was like, oh my God. I don't understand. I know. So, if you've got an injury...
She needs a medical professional.
There are some injuries you can train through, right?
And she's got her own coach.
But literally, right, now, the coach was full of shit, okay, in what the coach said to Jess. But as far as Jess is concerned, this could be life-changing, altering injury.
Yeah.
Right? That's what she's been told.
Ruining
this could be
her whole career.
Ruin her career, maybe change her life and quality of life. But Jess thinks, just got to train a bit harder.
Yeah.
Don't worry if you've broken your leg, just train it. Until it gets better, it'll be fine.
So, at practice later, Donald is begging Jessica for a go on the beam. It's like, can I have a go on that? It's not a toy. It's a fucking piece of equipment. They're trying to practice for an important event.
Days out. Days out from the California
He's
Games
just being a nuisance now.
Yeah.
He's literally stopping them from doing what they need to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
He climbs on the beam and he starts hopping around.
Yeah.
And he tells Jessica to get ready for his Donald's Wordling special.
The new one.
Yeah. He runs down the beam and leaps into the air towards the bars where Lila is practicing.
Yeah.
He crashes into Lila and knocks her to the ground. He could have fucking injured Lila.
Yeah.
He's a menace. He's an actual menace.
Well, yeah, and Jess runs over and asks if Lila's okay.
Lila says he could have killed her.
And he's right. She's right, though. That's not even an exaggeration. I mean, the guy just, could have fallen on her neck.
Yeah, he was on. She was on some high bars.
Yeah, he could have, again, life-threatening, changing injuries.
And why isn't Coach telling him to behave?
The coach keeps allowing this to happen, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why.
So after practice, Jessica tries to sneak off to go to Western.
Yeah.
But Lila catches her and says, you've got to come to emergency Unicorn Club meeting tonight. We're going to plan how to get rid of Donald permanently.
No.
Now this is definitely sounding like murder.
This is definitely sounding like murder. But you know what? For once, I'm with the unicorns. Get rid of this fucking guy.
Jessica says to let Coach deal with him. And Lila says...
the coach isn't dealing with him.
Yeah, Lila says Coach won't do anything. And
the coach has been allowing him to just get in the way of their practice. I mean, surely this is an important event. and they're training a lot. But they must have school. They can't be training all the time. There must be times when Donald can go there when they're not there.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to. He could go to the boys' one when the boys aren't there. Like, he's just in the way. But yeah, the coach is doing nothing. So I think Lila's right. Kill him.
Yeah. Just murder him.
Just murder him.
Jessica says she's got something important to do and she walks away.
Yeah.
And Lila calls after her and she just ignores her.
Yeah, which is, I mean, for everything we know about Jess trying to impress the unicorns, is a big deal. For her just
she
to
loves
be like,
Lila.
Yeah.
She's like up Lila's ass all the time.
So for her to be like, no, I'm going.
She gets to Western School and it's rough.
Yeah, of course.
Faded bricks, dead grass, and a metal detector at the door. Jesus.
Like checking for the old shanks.
Yeah.
She's bloody brave walking through there. It's like, oh my god, there's a metal detector there. I'm going to get stabbed. I'm going to actually get stabbed.
She finds Dawn in the gym in normal clothes, sat on a bench.
Yeah, injured.
Yeah. Dawn stomps towards her, glaring. And she's only got a slight limp now, though.
Yeah.
She tells Jessica to say what she's got to say and then get out. So Jessica says, I'm here to help you get back in shape.
Yeah.
It's like, again, she has a coach for that.
Yep, she does. And medical
and
experts.
Jessica isn't qualified
Nope.
to deal... Well, Jessica isn't qualified to coach anyone at all, let alone if they've got an injury.
I mean, she presumably has a reasonable amount of gymnastics knowledge. She has no knowledge of dealing with injuries, though. Like, at all. She should not be anywhere near this girl.
And I get funny about this.
I know you do. Well, you're a professional.
Yeah,
so.
I'm a personal trainer qualified, and I get annoyed when people are like, I can be a personal trainer.
Yeah, I can just do it.
Because I can do things myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Jessica's being a twat. Coach Wyckoff, who is their coach, Western coach, comes over and says, oh, I'm guessing you must be Elizabeth Fowler.
Now, how this coach doesn't recognise...
I know.
The best gymnast from the opposing team.
Because Jessica thinks she's surprised he didn't recognise her and has like a bit of a do you know who I am moment.
Yeah.
But to be fair,
how does she not know who Jess is?
But Jessica thinks she is wearing her hair down. But like still.
It's pretty obviously you. Yeah.
He tells her coach tells her Dawn could use a friend and he leaves them to chat. And Dawn says she should have guessed Jessica was Elizabeth Fowler, as she knew about Liz and she knew about Lila.
Yeah, it's kind of obvious, isn't it?
And Jess says, oh, you've done your research on me. And Dawn says, yeah, I also know you've got an ego the size of California.
That is not wrong.
And Jess says, well, yours must be the size of the whole world then. She explains to Dawn she wants to help her, but Dawn doesn't want to know. And Jess says, I only want to help you so I can beat you.
Yeah. And
I'm going to come by every day after my own practice, and I'll see you tomorrow. Like, you don't have to come by every day.
No, it's a bit much. And also she's injured. Like, I still don't understand Jess's plan to get her past this injury.
I know. So at practice the next day, Jessica is, she's scared of the bars again.
Yeah.
And Coach notices. And Coach says it's not uncommon for gymnasts to develop a sudden fear. And you should stay behind for a one-on-one with me tonight and we will try and work past it.
Yeah.
But Jessica says she can't. She's got plans.
Yeah.
She dashes out of the gym.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid. She's literally putting her own practices, like neglecting her own stuff. Just to go and help somebody is horrible to her.
Yeah.
So at Western, Dawn's waiting for her, but then she tries to act like she wasn't.
Yes, yeah. She wants to. She's secretly happy to see her, but she doesn't want to give Jess the satisfaction.
Yeah. Jessica says, "I'm glad to see you in your leotard," and Dawn says, "Well, what did you think, that I'd be naked?"
I wrote, Jess helps Dawn even though Jess hates her and is a total bitch.
Even though Dawn hates her, you mean?
Yeah. Jess helps Dawn even though Dawn hates her and is just a complete bitch to her the whole time. She's really nasty.
I know. And then they stop for a drink and Jessica asks Dawn if she ever gets scared.
Weird question to ask.
And Dawn says, no way. But she's really thinking that fear of falling was never a problem. It's fear of failing.
Yeah, and she's really glad that Jess didn't notice that her hands were trembling when she was doing the moves.
At school the next day, Lila tells Jess that her chauffeur saw her on the corner of 42nd Avenue last night on her bike.
I love this.
Like, why would her chauffeur give a shit?
Why was your chauffeur in the crap part of town?
Yeah.
That's where he lives, I bet. He's got no money at all because they pay him
They pay
nothing.
him pittance.
Yeah.
And Jessica's worried she's been rumbled, but Lila says, you shouldn't be taking such a long bike ride right before the games.
And she also tells her to ride in the opposite direction because she was dangerously close to that school. Although, to be fair...
what?
Well, it is a school with metal detectors on the door. It's a little concerning.
Yeah, but I mean, why would that matter if she's riding?
I guess maybe Lila's thinking, like, you're the lead of the opposing team going into the California Games. Shouldn't be anywhere near that place. I don't know.
Bit weird.
Yeah,
so at the gym, Donald is being annoying again.
God.
He's hogging the vault this time that Lila actually needs to practice on.
We are literally, like, I think this is like a day out before the games now. And they're practicing literally the day before the games. And Lila's like, I need to practice on this piece of equipment.
He begs Lila to let him have one more go at getting over it.
And then he takes forever to actually do it.
I know.
It actually says that, like, she finally relents and is like, fine. And then he just stands there like a moron staring at it for ages. It's like, come on.
Yeah. Apparently he can hear the Chariots of Fire theme in his head as he imagines himself leaping over it in slow motion. He sprints down the runway. And he actually does it.
He does actually do it.
And then he starts chicken dancing, wherever the hell that is.
I don't know. I don't know what a chicken
that thing
dance.
Where you like put your hands under your armpits and
yeah, I guess
make wings.
But everyone cheers, apart from Lila, who just does
Lila's
not at all. Yeah, Lila's done with his shit now.
So am I. I'm done with
I
this
am
shit.
as well. I am as well.
Mary says to Lila, come on, don't you remember your first vault? And Lila says, well, no, I probably landed correctly the first time I ever attempted one. And Donald says, I bet you all wish I was on the team now.
No.
Like, are you fucking mental? You've done one thing. No, they don't wish you were on the team.
I'm also pretty sure it's got nothing to do with the team. I'm pretty sure that the California Games have probably got strict rules as to, teams, right?
Yeah, probably.
They're not just going to be like, oh yeah. Well, I doubt they'd allow a guy to be on the girls' team for this. But also, I'd imagine they wouldn't be like, well, you can't just change your team like the day before the games.
Yeah.
Like, presumably they got the names and everything, and like
he's insane.
He is insane.
Coach asked Jessica to run through her routine on the bars, but she's like, oh, I just want to use the beam.
Yeah.
And Donald has noticed that she's been acting weird. So he tries to help her. He's annoying on this bit as well.
This is like his one thing where he supposedly helps, but he's just a pain in the ass still. And I don't know. The thing is, I don't know if we have communicated well enough how annoying Donald is in this book. But believe us, he is awful. Just
every few pages it mentions that Swordling special.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's always like, oh, let me have a go on this. Let me have a go on that.
Let me try my new and improved Swordling special.
You're not an adventure playground.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a gym.
Yeah.
So he thinks he's noticed Jessica's acting weird, and he tells her that she has to practice on the bars. And he's going on the beam, and he says, I'm not moving from the beam, so you can't use it.
Yeah.
And then she starts shoving him.
I don't blame her at this point.
And Coach's like, what's going on here? And Donald says, Jessica needs to go on the bars.
Yeah.
So Coach says Donald is right. And Lila asks Jessica why she's afraid. And then Donald says, you have to prove yourself like I just proved myself. It's like, don't compare this to
No, they're not really comparable, Donald.
And then they all start chanting Jessica's name.
Yeah, they egg her on.
So she goes for it.
Yeah.
And it actually goes okay.
Yeah.
Coach invites them all out for pizza to celebrate. But, of course, like, Jessica needs to go and see Dawn.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't need to. She's just got this insane idea.
Yeah. And she tries every excuse she can think of to get out of going for pizza.
Everyone's, like, begging her to go for pizza. She should go for pizza.
I don't really know why at this point she's continuing with this at all. But, of course, she can't find any good excuse. So, in the end, she agrees. And she does think to herself, Dawn probably won't even miss me.
Yeah. But she does.
She does,
the
indeed.
following day at Weston, Dawn is grumpy. And when Jessica shows up, she's really grumpy with her for not turning up.
Yeah, and Jess says, well, I didn't think you cared.
Yeah. And Dawn spits that she doesn't. And she tells Jess to just go home. And Jess notices Dawn's leg is pretty much better.
Yeah.
It's a miracle. And she's a bit worried that Dawn might have a chance at the gold.
Yeah.
But she watches her routine. She can see a problem with it.
Yeah.
So she shouts to Dawn that her hand is too far over. But it's too late and Dawn catches her foot and falls down.
But Jess leaps into action and breaks their fall.
They end up in a heap on the floor, and Jessica asks Dawn if she's sure she doesn't need her, and Dawn says, well, maybe a little. And she actually smiles. So at the last practice before the games, Lila's being all bitchy for no reason. I don't really understand this. Suddenly she's really bitchy to Jessica. She won't let her use the bars. And
Yeah,
so
I
she's
thought this was a
sneering
bit
at her.
weird. I think maybe Lila's just decided that she wants to get gold all of a
It's like
sudden.
you're meant to be on her team.
Yeah, it's weird.
Coach suggests that Jessica stays late to practice on the bars, and Jessica says she can't. Like, this is really going above and beyond now.
This is the day before
for, like,
now, right?
Some girl that sabotaged you and has
Yeah.
been nothing but rude and ungrateful to you.
And it's the night
Apart from
before
one
now.
smile.
This is the night before
Yeah,
the games.
you need to practice for your own stuff.
Or be resting.
Yeah.
Like one or the other. Mentally preparing.
And definitely not trying to improve your opponent.
No.
Like,
And at this point, like, especially now, like you said, she noticed in the previous day, she's pretty much healed now. She's pretty much healed. She's getting on fine. Yeah, her pirouette's not great, but that's on her. That's nothing to do with you, Jess. She's healed now. She'll be competition. She'll be as good as she's going to be. Fine.
Lila carries on taunting Jess.
Yeah.
And Jess throws her grips down. And Lila says that Jessica got chalk on her. And Jessica says, I'll show you what it's like to get chalk on you. And then she claps her chalked hands together over the top of Lila's head. And then Lila just starts flinging like whole handfuls of chalk at Jessica.
Yeah. It's a chalk fight. A
Yeah.
full-blown chalk fight.
Coach is furious. And she makes them clean it up.
Yeah. And of course the coach says, you know, you're going to have to practice after school, Jess, and Lila's going to use this. And Jess says she can't, but she does consider it.
Yeah.
She does consider staying.
So at Weston later, Dawn punches the low bar because she can't get a move right.
Yeah.
And she says to
She
Jess...
does have anger issues.
I know, she definitely does. She says to Jess she's only helping her out of guilt.
Yeah.
And she tries to move again. She just can't get it right.
Mm-hmm.
And she screams that she hates gymnastics. And Jessica tells her to relax, but apparently Dawn is like a stick of dynamite ready to go off. And Jessica's actually feeling like a little bit scared of her.
Yeah.
Because she's insane.
Yeah.
But Jessica doesn't need to be scared because Dawn just sinks to the floor and starts crying.
Yes.
She tells Jessica that gymnastics are all she has.
Yeah, and Jess starts feeling bad for her.
I don't feel bad for her.
No, me either.
I'm just a bitch.
Well, let's not forget that Dawn did start all of this.
She started all of this, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Dawn notices Jessica's covered
I must
in...
admit, the one thing I don't get is I don't really know why Jess decided to get her revenge the day after. Because it's like, you're already going to the games now. Like, if you're going to do it, do it then. Or, although I guess maybe the officials at the games are a bit better than the officials at the... You know.
Maybe she just didn't even want Dawn to qualify for the games.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Dawn notices that Jessica's covered in chalk.
Yeah.
And Jessica tells her about the chalk fight. And Dawn says, you and Lila must really hate each other. And Jess is like, no, we're best friends.
Yeah. And Dawn says that she doesn't really understand friendship.
Yeah. And it's like, this is not a normal friendship.
No, I was going to say, that
like,
I hope you don't think
take
that
Jess
this is
and
normal.
Lila as an example
No,
of a friendship.
It's definitely not a normal friendship.
And then Jessica confides in Dawn about her fear of falling.
Yeah.
And she gives Dawn a bit of a pep talk as well.
Mm-hmm.
She says that she'll show her how to do the pirouette. So Jessica starts to demonstrate the pirouette and she doesn't bother to put her grips on.
Don't know why. I don't know why.
Yeah. So she comes crashing down. She doesn't land quite right.
Yeah, so she lands it, but she lands a bit funny on her leg.
Yeah, she falls onto her ankle. She lies to Dawn that she's fine, and she tells Dawn to try the move, and Dawn does a perfect pirouette. All she did was for Jessica just to show her once, and then that's it. They wish each other luck for tomorrow.
Yeah. And Jess says that Dawn does ask her if she's going to be okay, and Jess says it'll be fine. I just need to walk it off. Yeah. And she does think to herself, hopefully, if I think it will be true, or if I say it out loud, it will be true.
But on the bike ride home, she's in agony.
Yeah.
And when she gets home, she puts some ice onto it straight away. And then Liz comes into her room and she pulls the duvet over her leg and to hide the ice and stuff. And she tells Liz she's fine.
Yeah.
But she winces as Liz sits down on the bed.
Yeah, it's not good.
No, it's really bad. Next day on the bus to the games, Liz is riding on the bus with them.
Yeah.
And she's interviewing people. She's wearing a white cap that says press on it.
Not really.
And she's carrying a spiral notebook.
I'm pretty sure the press don't wear caps that say press on it. Do they?
I think
Maybe they did in the 40s.
At events they do, like Olympics.
Oh,
and stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, at sports events and things.
Yeah, like I'm an official
gigs,
member
you see,
of
like
the press.
A photographer hat and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah. The Sixers isn't really press,
she's got a press pass, exclusive. She asks Amy in her best reporter voice how it feels to be competing at the games. And Amy says she's excited and nervous. And Liz furiously scribbles this down. So Amy said 4 words.
You can remember this.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Furiously scribbling down.
Quick, before I forget.
Yeah. Jess is just really quiet and Liz assumes she's nervous.
Yeah.
And she asks Jess how she feels and Jessica just says it's bumpy. So I think the bumping of the bus is hurting her ankle.
Hurting her ankle, yeah. I mean, if even slight movements are hurting it, you're in real trouble.
Yeah. When they arrive at the arena, Lila nudges Jess and says how huge it is. And she nudges her so hard that Jessica nearly topples over.
Yeah.
And she winces again.
Mm-hmm.
She's up first on the bars and she thinks that I'll just take it as it comes. And she thinks that it's in the bars, she won't be putting that much weight on her feet.
Yeah.
So when she warms up, but then she realises that she can't actually land.
Yeah, she can't land on that ankle.
And this means she won't be able to do her double flyaway that she's been working on. Whatever that is.
I don't know what that is, but yes, it's a move and she can't do it.
Yeah.
I'd imagine not being able to land on your feet is going to stop you from doing most things.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong, but don't they always end in pretty much...
There was some fancy landing that she planned. So when she's called up, Lila tells her the team are counting on her. It's like you wouldn't even let her on the fucking bars yesterday.
Yeah, hang on a minute. You can't say that now.
Yeah. So she ignores the pain. She does a perfect routine. But then when it comes to landing, her ankle gives in and she falls to her knees.
Yeah.
Lila starts being a bitch again.
I know, but it's this time, it's she could have injured herself there.
Yeah.
Not you don't know that she injured herself beforehand.
Yeah.
So Lila is just an absolute bitch here.
Lila says, why can't you even do a simple landing?
Mistakes happen.
But despite that, she still gets a 9.3 apparently.
Yeah, so I guess that her performance must have been so good that even the and I guess maybe she gracefully managed to get onto her knees or something, managed it somehow. But yeah.
And Dawn is up next. So yeah, Jess has got the sugar out again.
yeah. Well, this is the thing. She should have saved the sugar for today. But
Dawn is great, and Jessica can't help cheering for her.
Yeah, and her teammates are like, "What?"
Yeah. And when she finishes, Jessica runs over to Dawn and hugs her, and her teammates are all horrified.
Yeah.
And then they notice she's limping.
Yeah.
All of Jess's teammates rally around her and they carry her back to the bench. And Dawn feels jealous because none of her teammates ever support her.
I know. She's injured and she's just come down to cheer you. You do have a friend. It's Jessica Wakefield and she's just come all the way down to celebrate with you.
She's injured because of you.
You're jealous because she's got other friends.
And none of your teammates support you because you're rude.
Because you're a bitch.
You're always rude to them.
Yeah.
It said at the beginning of the book.
It says that she's really rude.
She's rude to them and she's blaming them apparently for the team not doing great.
Yeah.
Pulling their weight. But Dawn gets a 9.5, so she's won.
Mm-hmm.
One of her team gives her a high five, but then they all rush off without her, whispering and giggling. And she thinks she isn't one of them. They all do gymnastics for the season, but she does it all year round, 5 days a week for 4 hours a day.
I thought she hated it yesterday.
Because, she wants to make it to the Olympics, like the real Olympics.
Yeah. Well, she should probably stop cheating.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Coach tells Jessica that she's amazed how well she did with the sprained ankle. And if Dawn hadn't figured out how to do the pirouette, Jessica would have won.
Yeah, so basically
yeah.
Well, I mean, two things, really, because Jessica previously scored a 9.7. She might not have done it on the day, but odds are she would have won anyway. Even if she wasn't injured, she probably would have won anyway. But basically, the coach is saying that even with the injury and the botched landing, Jess would have won anyway if it wasn't for Jess showing her how to do the perfect pirouette.
I wanted Jessica to win.
So did I. But no. Dawn wins.
Yeah.
And Dawn is finally quite sweet as she takes to the podium.
So Jessica feels a bit jealous, but she's happy to get silver.
Yeah.
There's the award ceremony. Dawn gives a speech and she thanks her friend, Jessica.
Yeah.
And then the judge says there's one more award for the most promising gymnast. And this is where I was like, oh, Jessica's going to get something.
This. I thought exactly the same, and I thought Jess will get this for sportsmanlike conduct and everything else, and get for working through the injury and everything.
Yeah.
Nope.
So the winner gets a gym bag, a gift certificate, 2 weeks at gymnastics camp, and $10,000 in scholarship money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know.
That's a lot of money.
I don't know how much gymnastics scholarships. I don't know.
I don't know, but I'll have 10 grand if it's going.
But Dawn gets it again.
Of course.
Jessica's happy for her, and they end up apologising to each other. And Jess says she'll beat her next season, and Dawn says we'll see about that. Just what I was going to say earlier when I paused just now, because my mind went blank.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, when it says Dawn practices 5 days a week for 4 hours a day, how is Jessica suddenly better than this?
Than this girl who's been doing it her whole life. Yeah.
She dedicates her life to it.
True.
But Jessica's better
just
than
a
her,
natural.
apparently.
She's just a natural.
That much of a natural. Yeah, so Jessica says, we'll beat you next season. And Dawn says, yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much the end.
And that was the end of the book. Alas, Donald did not make it to the California Games. And presumably goes on to just be annoying elsewhere.
Yeah, so the whole Donald thing was absolutely pointless.
I actually adored him at the start of the book. And by about midway, I hated him.
Yeah, I don't know if I even got I even got to midway.
He literally, this is a really big thing for these girls. The California Games is a huge thing. Even the coach says before the games that it's a huge honor to even compete, to have even got to the level to compete. So this is a big deal. And Donald just doesn't care. He doesn't care about anyone but himself. This entire book, all he thinks about is himself, showing off to people, showing how great he is. Look at me. And it's no, these girls have got maybe the biggest event of their gymnastic career coming up. The day before, can you let them practice?
I found some reviews of this book, and
oh no, are we contrary to popular opinion?
So a lot of people seem to be saying that they thought that. Well, everyone seemed to hate Donald.
Oh, good. That was the main thing that worried me. A couple of people were saying
that they think that Jessica was really sweet the way she was with Dawn, and they wanted them to be friends. I thought she was an idiot.
I thought she was really sweet in the way that she was with Dawn, and I thought it was very uncharacteristic of Jess.
There's helping somebody though, and then there's going a bit too far when you're literally messing up your own.
So that's the thing. I was kind of with it for the first couple of times she goes to visit her, but certainly the last 2 times, especially once she could see that Dawn wasn't injured anymore. It's why did you go back after that? You just be cool, now it's up to you, and I'll see you at the games. And then go back again and be oh well, your pirouette's not great, so I'll show you how to do that perfectly. It's no.
Yeah.
You're
showing her your secrets.
Yeah, it's you wanted to get her up to her best. And her best is not you helping her. Her best is okay, you're not injured anymore, and you're good to go. I'll see you at the games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to disagree with those people, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Maybe we're just horrible people.
Maybe we're just nasty, horrible people. But Dawn, let's not forget Dawn was awful.
Yeah, and she started this whole thing.
She did.
I wonder if we'll ever hear from Dawn again.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out eventually.
Yeah. So yeah, on our last episode we had what was our last choosing sides? Our last episode of Casey's. I said that we both said actually we think pizza burgers sounded amazing. We wanted to know what they were.
Are they a thing?
Yeah, Sarah Travers said that they're gross.
Oh, okay.
They had them in school all the time, and then I realised that I actually used to have them in my school as well.
Really? What
so
are they?
They're an open-faced bun with pizza slop on it.
That actually does sound a bit
We used to
disgusting.
sell them in our canteen for 35p. I used to love them.
I bet they are horrible now, though.
I reckon I still like them.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, they don't taste.
Should we make
they're
some?
not quality. I used to make them at home actually. I think when I was like just moved out of my parents' house and ate crap all the time.
Yeah.
Just basically just cut a bun in half, put some tomato puree on, put some cheese on, and grill it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And yeah, she also said that it's mentioned in one of the Sweet Valley High books that Jessica paints her room brown on a rainy day.
Right.
But we haven't got to that yet, I don't think.
No.
And maybe Ken's trying to practice talking proper for when he dates Suzanne Hanlon, which you won't have any idea.
I don't know who that is. No.
But he dates someone called Suzanne Hanlon in Sweet Valley High, who's a bit posh. So maybe him saying, they're so much taller than I.
It's so much taller than I. Yeah.
Yeah, so our next Sweet Valley Twins book is
Sneaking Out.
Sneaking Out, yeah.
I just checked. I was like, I need to find the next book.
Yeah, because usually we've got the preview to read.
I know, and I was like, we haven't got the preview this time,
No.
so I had to check. But yes, I'm very much looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I
Johnny
love
Bot
it.
concert time.
Oh, I know. So this is the one where Jess tries to make the money to make the concert and then isn't allowed to go and sneaks out.
Yeah. So that's coming up in 2 weeks. And next week, Sweet Valley High, Kelly's Roadhouse episode is Deceptions.
Excited. Sweet Valley High books have been on a roll.
Yeah, they've been really good lately.
Yeah, they've been really good, and they're continuing with Deceptions, which I gather is about the sleazy man himself.
Nicholas Morrow.
Nicholas Morrow. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, so thanks for listening. Give us a follow on Instagram. We are Kelly's Roadhouse. And on Facebook, we are Kelly's Roadhouse Podcast.
Yes, give us a like, and also, if you're that way inclined, give us a rating on your platform of choice. You know, Amazon Music or iTunes or Spotify. iTunes, I'm so old-fashioned.
Yeah, or Facebook. You can leave reviews on Facebook as well.
Yeah, or on Facebook, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it'd be nice. It's nice to get the feedback, and keep your comments coming in, because we absolutely love the comments, and we will read them out on the show.
Yeah, so thanks for listening, and enjoy the Olympics if you're watching them.
Yes, and we'll be back next week with Kelly's.
Bye.